This video will walk you through everything you need to know about the Workshop Training Meeting module in the CMS, from when to use it to how to set up an activity in this module. Only programs under the Youth Empowerment Fund and Specialized Teen Strategies will use this module, but other programs are welcome to watch this video and inquire with their program officers if they would like to use this module. The Workshop Training Meeting module is located in the Direct Activities tab. Most programs typically create group activities, but many teen programs serve youth that are there for short periods of time, or that only show up for special events. These youth are hard to capture on CMS because they are not core youth, and are not there in a capacity where collecting demographic information is possible. The workshop module is meant to give programs a chance to show us how many lives they are really reaching with their services outside of their core youth. Examples of activities that will be categorized as a workshop, training, or meeting rather than as a group activity is any event where your core youth is leading a group as part of your program's curriculum or activities. This is very common among Youth Empowerment Fund programs, in which youth are encouraged to rally support for a cause and become leaders in their communities. In specialized teen programs, youth may be asked to teach a course on what they have learned to those outside of the program as a culminating project. For cases like these, where core youth are attending or leading workshops, please note that core youth will not receive credit for attending these workshops unless you create a corresponding group activity and take attendance there. You can find more information about creating group activities in one of the strategy-specific activity setup videos. Links are provided in the video description box below. Another example is any activity that is open to those other than a program's main group of core youth. These non-core participants may or may not be repeat attendees and are not likely to meet the 80-hour minimum requirement necessary to be defined as a core youth. To create an activity under this definition, click on the Workshop Training Meeting at the bottom of the Direct Activities page, and then click Add Activities. You will then be prompted to complete fields similar to the ones for creating a group activity. First, enter the name of the activity, and then tag it to the correct funding source. You would then provide a brief description of the workshop. Click Save and Proceed. Attach the workshop to the correct service site and cycle. The service site and cycle may not necessarily match where the workshop is actually taking place. You would choose a site and cycle that matches where your core youth attending the workshop are receiving services. Where are your core youth being trained before delivering the workshop to non-core youth? In cases where the workshops are led by staff instead, please choose a site and cycle for which the staff are primarily associated. You can specify the location of the workshop itself when you take attendance for each workshop occurrence. When finished, click Save and Proceed. You will then tag the activity to the correct activity category. Select the staff to assign to this activity, and then select Next Step. Your workshop training meeting is all set up and ready for attendance. You will not enroll any youth into these activities because it's very likely that you won't have these attendees in the system. To take attendance, click on the Attendance tab at the top of the page, and then select Add. You will add a new form for this specific workshop, training, or meeting every time it occurs. Notice that the attendance sheets are very different from the ones for group activities. Workshops require less information because these are meant to record activities that serve those that aren't regulars at your program. These activities occur in contexts where gathering the names and date of birth for each youth present, for example, is difficult. You will instead estimate aggregate numbers when taking attendance for these activities. Enter the date of the activity, and then the duration in minutes. You will then categorize the location where the activity took place by choosing a location type from the drop-down menu. You will fill in the actual location in the Location Name field. The attendance portion of this page asks for aggregate numbers for each participant type. Notice the two columns titled Continuing and New. In the first field here, you will tell us how many total returning participants showed up. How many faces do you recognize that were at a previous workshop, training, or meeting? In these fields here, you will break down the total number of continuing participants by participant type. These four fields must add up to the total number of continuing participants up here. You would do the same thing for the new column, but you will only count new faces that were at your workshop. For the demographics portion of the attendance sheet, we are only interested in the number of new participants. In this section, you will break down the total number of new participants by age. Please do your best to estimate the ages of those present. Again, the numbers here must add up to the very top field under New. The race, ethnicity, and zip code sections of this form are optional because this information is much more difficult to collect in these types of activities. If you have this information, please enter it here, again only for the new participants at the workshop, training, or meeting. Once finished, click Save at the top of the page. The attendance that you just took for your workshop is listed here with edit and delete options. You can always come back and make edits to the attendance if you find any mistakes, or delete the attendance sheet entirely. You do not have to create a brand new workshop every time you hold one. If the workshops are part of a longer series and are part of the same funding cycle and site cycle attachment, you can create one workshop and simply add a new attendance date for each occurrence. Choose the existing series of workshops for which you want to add a new occurrence, click the Attendance tab, and then select the Add button to complete another attendance sheet for the series. If you have any questions regarding if or when you should create workshops, trainings, and meetings, please contact your program officer.